So this is something I need to talk about. Now that we're talking about video essayists and people who don't show their face. So Summoning Salt.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite creators on YouTube. He makes speedrunning documentaries telling the story of how small speedrunning communities overcome the challenges of a game, break it down into a million pieces, and then sort of compete for top rung of the speedrunning leaderboards. So Summoning Salt puts out a video about Mega Man 2 speedrunning. It's an hour long. It's the traditional Summoning Salt fare, where it is a great video about something that, if you ask me, do I know anything about Mega Man 2? Do I care anything about Mega Man 2? I say no, but you show me that video thumbnail and I'm like, yeah, please tell me more. I will watch for an hour. Yeah, exactly.
I would love to learn about Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, please. And so he puts this video out. It gets 1 million views because he's, killing it. And then about 4 days in, the video gets age restricted. A speedrunning documentary about Mega Man 2 got age restricted, 18 and up. So it kills the video's performance. This is a creator who we know video essayists and people who cannot produce content frequently on the platform, and to the point where like AdSense is like some creators have a business model where they can only post a couple of videos a year. Mm-hmm. And Summoning Salt is one of them. I think when he's full-time now, and he was saying, it's like, I think maybe I'm going to get like 8 videos out this year, something like that, where that would not be a sustainable full-time income.
Yeah,
but
I patched Wolf with one of them.
Yeah, but it's important, and then he also supplements with Patreon and stuff. But the point of that is age restricting one of the videos is a big deal, especially because this is something that his content is not explicit. The reason that it was allegedly... So he tweeted about this. Then YouTube was like... Or he appealed it, but everyone knows that when you appeal on YouTube, they say it's revealed by a real person, but that, that's got to be something... Sure. There's got to be something up there, because he appealed it, and in 45 minutes, they had reviewed the like hour-long video. So they were like watching it back at like double speed or something like that, or they weren't watching it back at all, or they were looking
Captions
at a transcript,
only.
Or they just were flipping a coin, who knows. They manually reviewed and confirmed that it needed to be age restricted. And then he did what all creators do, which is complain on Twitter, because it's the only way to reasonably get a response out of YouTube. And we all hate that this is a fact, but it is. If you even indirect YouTube, if you say like, hey, YouTube kind of sucks right now, Team YouTube is going to show up in your replies. Hey, thanks for mentioning us. Is there anything we can do to help? Because they've got like a crack team of people on a Salesforce somewhere that's all connected to that goddamn Twitter account.
Yeah.
And they have, super searches to get every single,
they prioritize brand repair in the public sector. Like they because the conversation's happening publicly, you need to perform.
People can see it.
It's like, hey, we should hang out sometime, and then they never turn up to the coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So YouTube shows up and they're like, oh, actually, this is confirmed. This video needs to be age restricted. By the way, it's important to mention the video over an hour has 19 curse words in it, which is not many curse words. I'm sure we've probably already said more curse words than that in this episode of Sad Boys. He obviously replies, and it's like, this isn't an explicit video. What they think is that there's a clip of somebody's stream when they like break a world record where they say the F word 6 times in like 3 seconds or something like that, or 9 times in 3 seconds. But other than that, there's nothing like explicit about the video. It's just like, it almost seems like they have an algorithm that's like detecting the density. If they're at any point in the video, there's a high density of curse words above a certain threshold, then it needs to be age restricted. That's kind of what it feels like. But anyway, he complained, and then they were like, no, actually, this is for real. And then he continued to complain, and the community's jumping in and going, hey, this is fucked up. And then YouTube is like, hey, our bad. We messed up. we've lifted the age restriction. Then a few days go by. The video doesn't. The issue with the age restriction also is it kills its virality. It kills its growth and suggested. So,
not to mention robs it of the revenue it would have been making.
Exactly. There's no takesies backsies on that kind of thing. So, a few days go by. Then he gets another email saying it's been age restricted again. And then they said, no, for real, this time we've reviewed it again. What is this, a third time? And they're like, actually, no, it needs to be age restricted. This Mega Man 2 gameplay is just too dirty. It's too... Meanwhile, this is the platform that let InfoWars thrive for years on it, that continues to let actually harmful rhetoric and actually high profanity-laden content run rampant on the platform. And I'm not saying that profanity-laden content is a problem inherently, but it is so clear to anyone with a brain that this is not offending content. This is not offensive content. There shouldn't be any issue. I haven't been demonetized or age restricted. I think I've been age restricted one time in the 5 years I've been making YouTube videos. And it was I appealed it, and I think it went through. No, I think the only time we've been age restricted was on our Black-White episode 1 reaction.
And our Shane video on the Sabwoods channel.
Oh, yeah, the Shane video. Okay, so...
Which fucking stings, because that was a popular video.
Well, these are things that, at the very least, there's an argument for because there's extremely sensitive content being discussed and sensitive details. It is not just someone saying the F word a few times in a video game.
Which also is, so for people who don't know, the workflow, especially on a video this big that is so heavily planned ahead, that video has gone up in multiple versions of that video have been uploaded to YouTube Studio, unlisted or private, with YouTube having full access to it to review. And I'm not saying that YouTube should be, or even could, manually review every single upload, even from significant creators, immediately. Yeah. But they have their scraping algorithm, which checks for the generic stuff like swears within the first 30 seconds, copyrighted content, the like.
YouTube generates in the most simplest of senses, for every upload, YouTube is doing speech to text on that, getting the text captions of it or what it understands, running processes on that, and seeing is there dangerous content in this? And
is the guess that it just got flagged by viewers? What's the...
No, it's it keeps being confirmed by manual review, quote unquote. Yeah. And so this is a real problem on YouTube, especially because, like you said, these are the types of videos that creators make a draft of and they upload to see if it gets flagged, and then there's no issue.
Why would you risk this? Because why would you everything you can?
Right, and then YouTube also doesn't give us any tools for amending the situation. If it was hey, this is age restricted because of these few seconds in this part, 99% of creators would say, oh, trim out the part. Obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is not the point. This is not the point of the content, is to be salacious or to be vulgar. It's just something that was so innocuous that they didn't even consider, the creator didn't even consider that it would be a problem.
Or automatically mute like Twitch VODs are.
Or just automatically
mute.
Which
you can appeal to if it's wrong, but at least temporarily you aren't getting some kind of revenue. In what
universe would you go, actually no revenue, no views for you, over 6 seconds where you could just mute that by default and then no one hears the bad stuff? It's over video game footage. What literally... I would much rather if YouTube was muting a couple of seconds than age restricting the video. If you said, hey, we're going to keep your video and recommendations, but this 30-second clip has been muted, I'd be oh, fuck, I got to resolve that stat, but at least people are still seeing the video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that, I think, is just, it exposes a huge problem with YouTube system. And I understand how difficult the problem is, but that does not mean that we shouldn't hold these corporations accountable. YouTube is the largest website on the planet. It is the, if not the second behind the Google search engine. And it is $1 trillion like operation. It's like one of the most valuable companies to exist. And
with the community support infrastructure of like sadboyspod.com.
Yeah.
Like we are as active about resolving problems, which is not.
And it's like, I understand like firsthand, these problems at scale are very, very difficult to solve. The operational issues of support, fielding, that stuff, all very hard. But because of the profit motive, these companies are going to do everything they can to get away with less. They want to get away with as little as they can. You know what I mean? Because everything costs money. So
Which they are.
Yeah.
Their only incentive to change would be losing the thing they care about most. And that is not creator approval because they're a monopoly. And
that's why making a public stink on Twitter gets much more reaction than privately emailing your partner manager or privately emailing YouTube support, because there's now a PR risk.
Sure.
And that's the only leverage that creators have against the platform, because we are so beholden to it. And it is such a monopoly. And as Twitch gets into all of its dramas, it's becoming more and more an existential threat that like YouTube is just going to continue swallowing up markets and be the only game in town. And while I am grateful to YouTube and am grateful for what the platform has done for me, that doesn't mean that I can like stand idly by and kind of okay every decision it makes, because that's not, that's not a good situation.
We also know from career experience that these are like, especially at this kind of scale, very siloed teams. There are people that like have as much influence over the like structural choices of YouTube as we do.
Yeah.
Like there are teams working their asses off that include features that we really like that essentially don't even work at the same YouTube.
Right. I mean, like,
they might as well be outsourced.
Also large company problems. I mean, I think that the other issue is that it's very hard for a large company en masse to understand the like kind of beating heart of a creator and the actual experiences that your average creator goes through. And so we do have to be vocal. And I think that while companies like YouTube do make an effort to reach out to creators and do research with them and embed themselves with the creators and understand their workflows, I think that there's always more work that can be done there, because until we don't see these issues of very obviously unproblematic content being flagged and very problematic content running off scot-free, or even just focusing on unproblematic content getting flagged, like as long as that continues to happen, we have to be the squeaky wheel, because that's how we will get the grease. So,
sure. And more often than not, it's actually really interesting to me how much YouTube has banked on creators as their brand. The idea that somebody that's logged into the, I don't know, like Jimmy Fallon YouTube account is getting that same little slideshow at the bottom right of YouTube Studio saying like best ways to optimize your thumbnails. Creators, what's going on? Time for the wrap up from the week. We tweaked how analytics works in a way that like the media manager for Jimmy Fallon could give one shit about. It's so funny that like functions the exact same way when profit motive wise, feature set wise, community support wise, or like internal support wise, that is the priority by far. YouTube would let 50% of the commentary community drown before they would step on a Fallon submission even once.
Yeah.
Because that covers the same amount of viewership and is less complicated.
Yeah.
I don't think... I do see sometimes... I mean, feel free to share if you think this is wrong. I can't help but laugh when people... sad laugh, single tear laugh, when people are saying like, all right, time to switch to Vimeo, or like time to shift platforms.
Oh yeah.
We are so far beyond that being an option.
people don't understand the stranglehold that YouTube has, and don't understand people think that YouTube can quote unquote fail in the traditional sense, and I believe that it is too big to fail.
Absolutely.
Like, and it's like Facebook failing. It's like no one uses Facebook that you know, and yet it still is producing billions of dollars in revenue. What is going on?
Most YouTube users don't know about commentary. They don't even know the genre. Like, it's... And I'm talking peak. Like, most YouTube users have never heard of you, Curtis, Danny, Drew, Cody, Noel, ever. Yeah, because it just is not important. They're not logged in. Yeah. They've never left a comment or even logged into the website, and they watch 10,000 hours a month.
Yeah.
Like, it is their number one, like, entertainment platform.
Right,
but they're just not watching that. They're getting linked from Facebook,
right,
which they also use all the time.
Yeah, and so it's just like I think that the hyper online community is often like, I don't understand how these companies can stay and keep their doors open if everyone hates them. And it's like, because you exist in a bubble of the 0.00001% of people who have this dialogue online. But the average person in the real world hasn't given two thoughts about this ever in their lives. And they're just consume because that's what these platforms, the only reason I care about this stuff is because I work in the space. I've worked in the space from a professional context, but there's no reason that the average person that you interact with on a day-to-day basis needs to give a shit about like how the YouTube platform is treating creators. Because it's in some ways it could be like workplace drama. It's like, the union for actors is, has really good COVID safety or something. That's like, and no one else does. And we need more unions. And it's like everybody's in their own little like bubble,
Yeah, like how many people that watch movies cared about the SAG-AFTRA drama?
Yeah.
No one at all.
Yeah.
No, they never even heard about it.
Right.
Why the hell would they? But we could, like, we have friends that I'm sure if we never spoke to anybody outside of those friend groups, we would think it's like Vietnam.
The most important issue. Yeah, and that's just how it goes. And so, so we're doing our part here to whip up awareness of what we see as a YouTube shortcoming in support of Summoning Salt, who I think is an awesome creator and doesn't deserve this treatment from the platform.
And like, case in point, what's the one thing that Summoning Salt can't afford to do is stop uploading to YouTube.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that's worse than getting demonetized is getting demonetized and not uploading, because then they aren't even generating their Patreon revenue. And not even getting the chance to make ad revenue.
And that's such an unrealistic ask of people where it's like, let's do an Instagram blackout. Like, let's nobody post on Instagram today and let's really show them the power that we have. And it's like, this is just
that really silenced 0.4% of the user base.
Yeah. It's just like, they're like, is it quiet around here? Or is it just me?
Is it a national holiday or something?
At all? Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, it's just like
somebody in like Tokyo, like the densest metropolitan place on the entire planet. Yeah. And then it's like everybody with size 7 shoes doesn't go outside for a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's a real ghost town, right?
Yeah, they're like, there's, I see 6s, I see 8s. No one's looking. No one noticed you were gone. Yeah.
They just assume it's flu season or something.
Okay. So, anyway,
YouTube's been destroyed.
Yeah, dude, epic style.
Big pun.
Gucci girl, how you doing? How you moving, girl? Moving, girl. How's your day looking? That future girl, yeah, we on now. Take my money, go away, or you want it? Girl, too rich for me.